Hello everybody, I'd say morning but it's mid-morning, so I hope you're all having a good day. We've been out and doing a few little trips to get a few things that we wanted, so we got them in the end. Had a bit of a job to get Harvest Gold fence paint, but we found it in the place we were going to go in the first place, so all good. And right, I made a little plan of what I'm going to talk to you about today. Just have a little look. So what I want to do today is talk to you about my own books, and I also want to talk to you about what influences me, what writers influenced me when I first started writing, and I also have my tarot cards with me because I have a site called Tarot Crystals Palmistry, and the link to that is below. I do card readings, so I'm going to pick a card out in a moment and tell you all about that. But first of all, what I'd like to do is show you the very first thing I had published. Because from a very young age I knew I wanted to be a writer. We all had the Enid Blyton books, didn't we, and all those sort of things, Mallory Towers and all those. And the very first thing I had published was in this little book. I saw an advert in a magazine. It must have been a writing magazine. It's the Animal Lovers Summer Annual. And they were asking for anything to do with animals, and it was for a charity. So we didn't actually get paid, but for me I thought it's a chance to get your words read and in a book. So it didn't cost anything, and we got the book as well, which was £5, but we got the book for having something in it. So let me show you what I had. At the time I was writing stories for magazines, like the ladies' magazines, but I wasn't having much luck. But then this story, Stardust the Racehorse, there. This was my story about a horse. Because I love racehorses, but I always think I don't like if they get hurt or something like that. So it's 1 page, 2 page, 3 page. It probably was a 2,000 word story, probably. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 5 pages. Quite a traditional story, but it's one that's now in a story collection of. So I have had a story. My weekly I publish my stories, individual stories, and what other magazine? Some other magazines have had them. I can't think now. They've been online and things like that. Anyway, this one starts off about Stardust. It starts off, Stardust was a racehorse, a lively black stallion, with white markings on his forehead. His mane shone due to the constant grooming he got from Lucy, his master's new stable girl. Lucy adored Stardust. She loved the fact that it was her responsibility to keep him groomed, ready for big races. He was not classed as a champion yet, but Lucy could see he had lots of potential. After being with him for a month, she felt well and truly settled. Well, Stardust, I'm 22 now, and you're the best person I've ever worked with. How's that for a compliment? She laughed as he nudged her with his soft pink nose. Go on, you old softy. I know you're not a person really, but you're more like a person than a horse to me. The horse prodded his nose at the large pocket on Lucy's anorak. Here you are then, just one for now. Lucy held a sugar lump on the palm of her hand and smiled as she watched him chomp it up. So it's kind of... I think Lucy's based on my cousin. She's horse mad, got horses. I think I was thinking of Julie when I read that story. It's quite good, even though I say it myself. I think I was reading a bit of Dick Francis at the time, and I fancied myself as like one of those sort of writers, good stories about the corruption and things like that. So she overhears a conversation. Agreeing to take a tumble for a big amount of money, and then Stardust would be cast aside as no good, but you can get the gist. I thought it was brilliant. Picture there, our daughter Anne drew that picture, and that got published. And what else did I do? I did a collection of short stories for children, these are available on Kindle. And because the summer's coming now, I think I'll be I'll be putting these up at free for children to read. They're for little children, probably 3 to 6, 3 to 5, 3 to 6, quite young children. There's Busy Lizzie the Bumblebee, and they all have illustrations as well, look, done by me. Stick to the writing, eh? Harry Hedgehog's Surprise. That's really in my flow with these stories, Hedgehog there. And the stories are called Tales from Grandma's Back Garden because I was at my mum and dad's house at the time and it was just so lovely. It was like they had beehives by the garage. That's just like their garage. They had the beehives, and they had a pond. So that's Harry Hedgehog's Surprise. I think he falls in the pond. Sammy Squirrel's Day Out. That's Mum's illustration there. Mum's a good drawer. Mr. Rat and the Dustbin Mat. Look at that. Bird table and everything. Mr. Rat at the bird table. Little seat, the greenhouse. I really had big ambitions with these stories. I thought, I'm going to get these, send them everywhere, Penguin and all sorts, but nobody wanted them. So I did it myself, as usual. Story of Freddy Fish, Fish in the Pond. And that was my first publishing venture. Oh, and look at the games. You wouldn't believe it. I used to have this pinned up on the wall. Look, certificate. This is to say, Susan Jane Walker has taken part and submitted work in the Post Horse and Pet Club 1992 Animal Lovers Summer Annual. So if anybody looking at this had some work in that, let me know, get in touch and we'll see what happened after that. So that was quite good. Now let's have a look at the tarot cards, shall we? Let's give them a shuffle. These are the Egyptian tarot cards, and you find when I'm doing my writing, let's see now, there's a bit of magic in this book, the first book. There's each story is a separate story, but they're all set in the same place and the characters are intermingled, so I think the story with the most magic, it's all magic, lovely stories. I'm saying it myself, but if I pick this up I'm amazed I even wrote this. I think I must have been channeling to somebody else. Here we go, let's just have a look. Murder on the Market, not that one. The Witches one, which is the Witches, let's see. This book's dedicated to Alan. I'm trying to think which one's the ghost. Hang on, bear with me. 41, I think. Midnight on Coley Hill, that's the one. 89. It's got to be Halloween time, I guess. 89. There we go. Midnight on Coley Hill. Now, what I did with these stories, I put a quote to do with the story. So, but you'd read the title, Midnight on Coley Hill, and there's a quote from Shakespeare, goes, "'Tis now the very witching time of night," so you get a drift, there's witches in that one. And it starts off, "I've been invited to a school reunion in Reddington. Pearl Allerton ran her fingers across the cream invitation with embossed gold lettering as she sipped her morning tea and ate toast. Do you think I should go?" She looked in the direction of her cleaning lady, Sybil. "Depends if you want to see old school friends again. I had one of those a while back. People change though, and they all look older and fatter." Sybil cleaned the ashes out of the grate. "How do you feel about it? Anyone in particular you'd like to see?" There is. And what's my point? The witches. So there's 3 old friends and they're witches and they get together on the hill. That's good. So there's magic in that one. That one, I can't remember the magic in that one, but that one was my start as having, I've got a bookmarker here, look. A nice card. Oh, let's see, I put all sorts of things in books. Oh, it's a letter from Sal. Letter from you, Sal. "The weather's cold and it looks like snow. 18th, 2023. Mhm. Yeah, nice. Look at that picture. Yeah, beautiful. So let's see if there's any magic in this. Let me just check the titles. So this is Murder in the Village, Another Year in Reddington. This was 2017, and this one is dedicated to you and Alid and Anne with love. Thanks for the fun and the laughs. That's our children. So Rooms in the Shop, Royal Limited, Preston Lodge. Festival of Music, Richie in Love, Reddington Expands, A Trip to Cromer, Richie in Danger, Richie Takes Charge, Cryptotroma. Keep doing that. I'm calling wax melts, Max Welts and things like that. It's just me. What happens when you go past 60? Page 138. Let's have a look. 138. A trip to Troma sounds good. Not a cryptotroma, a trip to Cromer. 138. Hang on. 138. It's a musical festival. Which is in Love. Festival of Music. I'm still with you. Just practicing. Trip to Cromer. 143. Oh well. Trip to Cromer. It didn't take long for the two cars to zip around the Norfolk lanes, and the plan was to get Ken as drunk as possible, then get him to talk. Is he still following? Simone tapped the chauffeur on the shoulder, not wanting to look round and make it obvious to Ken she was watching him. He most certainly is. Simpson focused on the road as they approached a huge roundabout, then took the turn towards the back roads of Wells next to the sea. Around the country lanes, a small group of teenagers on bikes stopped and pulled over to watch the silver Rolls-Royce stream past, followed closely behind by the pale blue Mercedes-Benz. Simone never tired of doing the royal wave from her back window. Marigold puffed on a cigar and couldn't have cared less. They arrived in Cromer in record time and found a pub garden overlooking the sea. Once they were settled in the beer garden with crab salad for four, Marigold went in for the kill. You're an affluent chap, we've noticed. She looked at the bulging wallet trying to escape from his pocket. Only, being in the business ourselves, she glanced at Simone, we recognise a fellow entrepreneur when we spy one. So that's magic in that one as well. Right, I'll pull a card now. We're coming up to a full moon and I feel a lot of positive energy around, positive and negative, but if you find any negative, turn it into a positive. I don't believe in anything other than positive news. So I'm going to go like that with the cards. There you go. I'm not looking what they are. I'm going to pick this one here. Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords actually says there is a lot of anxiety around, a lot of worry, and there's a lot going on in the world in general and at this moment in time, uncertainty and everything like that. So let's see what we can do about that. Three of Swords. Now Swords is to do with the mind and the emotions, what's going on inside. So three means there's a way to get through this, and moving on is a way to get through this. It's a journey. Not only a journey in time, like on the road, a journey as in it's a journey, and it's a tricky journey, but we have to do this journey. And I'm going to take one more to do that so you can't see windows in my glasses. Now, the writing desk today is a beautiful little orange writing desk with daffodils on. Nice. And the way around the anxiety and the angst is the chariot. But again, the chariot is moving on again. So it's a big time for moving on and lots of changes. So that's a major card. So lots of things happening and lots of things changing. And because I'm a monkey, I'll just take one more. So if you want a reading, what happens is you get in touch with me. It's £25 for a full reading, but you get 11 cards: past, present, future, what's influencing your future, personality, home life, relationships. This is what I'm not going to go for that one. And 4 of Cups, that's relationships. And if that one comes up in your relationships, it's to do with that you have a nice relationship, but things aren't moving how you want them to. It's a little bit stuck at the moment, a little bit stagnant, so you have to think of a way to change that. See, so all those cards, really, they're not exactly good cards, but they're cards saying there's a way to change them. One more card. And I'm going to go. I have a beautiful view at the moment. I'm looking at trees and woodlands out my window. It's beautiful. I'll show you before I go. Oh my God, it's a big machine in the field. Ooh, all things happening. And we have that one. It's known as the wish card, saying that whatever you're wishing for, your wishes will come true. So there you go. There's always a card that will counteract the bad cards. And they weren't bad cards anyway. But these cards are really nice. I'll show you all the different pictures. Let's have a look. That's the Lovers, for instance. Egyptian tarot. Hanged Man, that's when you're being taken for granted. So you have to change that. Don't let anybody take you for granted. The Devil. Temptation. The Moon. Psychic influences. Temperance, that's balance, and you need to get more of a balance in your life. So let's put those two on side now. So I've showed you the tarot cards. That's another side of what I do. The writing is the main thing I do, but I do love to read the tarot cards and consult them to see what's happening. So that's book 1 and book 2 of Reddington. The book I'm working on at the moment is book 3. It's a third in this one, but it's a standalone as well. Like these are both standalones, but they are book 1, book 2. So I'll have a book 3, and then I'll stop then, unless everybody says we want more, and then I'll do some more. Now my next book is that one. I'm trying to think of magic in that. Let's see now. Oh yeah. The lady on a barge called Ziggy. I seem to like people on barges. I always put a canal and a barge in the story. Warwickshire Man, page 69. I'll read about the Warwickshire Man. Chapter 7. Margie and Denise returned to the front of the factory, only to find Craig and Sharon had left the building. With Margie going off in the direction of the machine room, Denise returned to an office that was more organised now than when she'd first seen it. At the window she looked down. Craig and Sharon were having an animated conversation. He didn't look relaxed, she thought, not realising how much she was frowning. Denise carried on with her work, typing up invoices that were waiting in her in-tray, banging hard on the keys, helping to get rid of the frustration rising inside her. It was none of her business, she reminded herself as she tapped away. Denise eased herself up in the swivel chair. The couple below laughed, and before Sharon walked away, Craig kissed her on the cheek. Well, how dare he? Isn't that cover nice? That was done by a lady in Sunderland called Sam Coyles. She did my covers for a while, and I would have loved her to keep doing them, but she doesn't do them anymore. But she did that one. Pleased with that one. She did all those three actually. This is another one. This is a rewrite of that one, because when I took that book and story to show the agents at the conference, the Romantic Novelists Association, they all sort of liked it, but they said rewrite it. Some wanted it in the now, which is this one, and then the last time I saw somebody, she wanted it war years, which I think I told you about that one. So that's this one, the one I've just got. This is my recent book. Now the blurb on this one, so the names in this are the same, Denise and Craig, the hero and heroine, but the story's completely different, but I've kept the names the same. So with this one, Denise had landed her dream job at something special fashion boutique in the town of Molesey, Warwickshire. An accident put paid to her start date. When her new hobby, hat making, grew into a small business with the help of her landlady Sadie, who used to work in the hat factory before it closed, she gets full support of her boss, shop owner, millionaire Craig. So why was work colleague Jeannie so jealous? He was a free man. At the Savoy, they shared a passionate kiss on the landing. Then Craig goes cold on her. Back in Warwickshire, Cynthia Barton Hayes comes to the shop, asking where her fiancé Craig is. Maybe he isn't available, like Jeannie warned her. The ghost watch in the old hat factory building is eventful, even though being alone and in the dark is a great chance to get up and close to Craig. Finally, at the fashion show in Paris, he shows how underhanded he really can be. Will she ever find love, or will it forever escape her? That was a pocket novel as well, same like the others. And then this one came next. This was another cover done for me by Suzanne Coyles. I think that was her name. Let me just have a look. Dedication, acknowledgements. Hang on. This is a proof as well. Acknowledgements. Thank you to my writing buddies Patsy, Rosemary, Lynn and Sheila for help and friendship and fun along the way. My weekly pocket novels editor Maggie Swinburne is a great supporter of my writing. Thank you. Joining the Romantic Novelists Association gave me the opportunity to speak to editors and agents, one who is waiting for me to edit another story. So for anyone serious about writing romantic fiction, I would highly recommend joining them. I'd like to give a special mention to my loyal readers and Mum, who's been waiting patiently for this book. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for the loving encouragement from Alan, who supplies endless cups of tea and makes me feel very special. Being married to the man you love helps enormously with writing romantic fiction. So there's magic in this one as well. Is that a lovely cover? Pirate ship there. And this one is... This is the blurb, I'll tell you. Serena Winter normally reports on local events for a travel magazine. She's landed her dream job in the Caribbean. On the plane journey across the Atlantic, she's seated next to a grumpy stranger, Broderick Loveday, doing nothing, going nowhere, he tells her. Her job is to report back to the Explorer magazine on drunken monkeys and anything she can find on the Caribbean islands that might interest readers. Now she simply can't wait for her adventure to begin. The kindness of local people, and one special one in particular, keep her heart firmly in the Caribbean. But what will she do when it comes time to leave? So let's see what magic goes on in this one. There's always magic amongst the pages. You have to better magic. And this one is dedicated to my special auntie and uncle next door, with love. Forgot to tell you who that one was dedicated to. That one is dedicated to 3 Lilies. Great Grandma Lydia, known as Lily, beautiful Mum Lily Rose, and little Lily always loved. Excuse me, just have a cup of tea. Excuse me very much. Let's learn how to edit my videos. Hope you've stopped watching by now. But if you're still watching, brilliant. Chapter 1. Christmas in the Caribbean. What more could a girl want? Only a few days ago, Serena Winter had spoken to her mum on the phone. I'm the only travelling reporter for Explorer magazine who hasn't come down with the awful flu bug. Otherwise, they'd never have sent me. Imagine my first proper assignment, Mum. I'd be daft not to take it. Only thing is, it means being away for Christmas. You sure you and Dad don't mind me joining you this year? She heard the reassurance in her mother's voice and then continued. All I have to do is send back some stories about the drunken monkeys that are supposed to inhabit some of the Caribbean islands and any other interesting topics I think readers might like. I don't think that should be too difficult, would it? There we go. And then finally, this one, Barbados Nights. This is the proof, that's why the bands do it. The real book doesn't have a band through the actual book. So you go Barbados Nights, copyright Sue Jones, ISBN number. ISBN. This one is dedicated to Sal and Jude. With love, always follow your heart. So we got chapter 1, a tall, dark, handsome man, the voice of an angel. Into the deep. Barbados Nights, a different kind of love. Jude talks. I know there's magic in it, I'm just trying to think what chapter. It's all good though, it's all a nice story. Let's dive in and see where we find the magic. A chance to sing. Chapter 9. The jeep bounced over potholes and flew over narrow ditches, causing Clementine to fall off the back seat a few times. She felt like she was on a stowaway in a James Bond film, and she really hoped Blaze would hear news soon of where his sister might be. His jaw was set, he wasn't in the mood for talking. She decided to keep quiet, as nothing she could say would improve the situation. His mobile beeped and he grabbed it from his pocket. Dad, what's the word? Keeping conversation to a minimum, he frowned and glanced her way for a second and shouted into the phone. Got that, we're on our way. The minute his phone snapped shut, he swore, presumably Barbados slang. She'd never heard those words before. We've been looking in the complete wrong direction, blast. You know where she is now? From the look on his face, there was a breakthrough in communications. He leaned across and took her in his arms. They've heard her, she's alive, and if I know my little sister, she'll be making them wish they'd got somebody else. How much? Don't be spoken a whisper. Don't spoken a whisper. 1 million. Blaze broke away and spoke quickly. Right, we need to head down to the west side. Diver's Bar is over that side of the island. He tapped the number on the new recruits on his phone and asked them to call off the search. She heard him say, it's all good, we have good contacts, but thanks for your help. So that's a really nice book. They're all nice. I hope you like them if you buy them. And let me just check my notes. What I'm doing is I'm doing book boxes for £15. So what you get in a book box is you get the book of your choice signed by me out of those, not forgetting this one, and this one is a big chunky book. There's the last page. Look, 262 pages, and that's real big story. It's a nice one. So in the book box anyway, you can take your pick of those books I've just showed you. So you get your book, you get a handmade bookmarker, you get herbal tea, you get a crystal bracelet, and a handmade card from me, and a little letter to say thank you for supporting my writing. Because without readers and followers, we're writing for ourselves really, but I still would do it, but I really appreciate anybody that reads my books. So if you'd be interested in a book box, get in touch with me please, and we'll sort that out. just want to tell you, Alan's socks are finished, and they're up. They're actually up in his bedroom now, but this is them. Can you see? Yeah, they turned out. They're lovely. That's better. Look nice and cosy, don't they? So he shouldn't have cold feet anymore. And I must remember to say hello to my new followers and thank you. And I can't always see who you are, so could you just pop a little hello and let me know who you are, so I'll name you, tell you by name and say a proper hello next time. What else I've got to do? One more thing. I just want to show you a couple of books and writers that influence my writing. I think when we write, sometimes the first thing they want to know, what genre you're writing. Where will you go on the bookshelf? Who will you fit alongside? Well, you tell me with mine. I mean, that's the thing. I just write stories I like. Starting with Stardust the Racehorse was the first one. And I've sort of adapted that to the story I wanted to read, set in the place I was born and brought up. And there will be more of those coming. And as you know, I've already told you there's a third one coming in this series. And I think these two are set in the Caribbean. That one and that one. That's Barbados. That's a made-up place, but it's like kind of a Jamaican island off Jamaica. So I seem to like threes, so I'll probably be doing another one of those. The hat stories, I've already got those two hat stories, and that recent one, that's my third hat story. But what I'm reading at the moment is this. Death on the Lusitania. So there really was the Lusitania that got sunk. RMS Lusitania, one of the world's most luxurious ocean liners, departs from war-torn Europe, set in 1915 era. I like that era. And among those on board is Patrick Gallagher, a civil servant in His Majesty's government tasked with escorting a British diplomat back to England. When a fellow passenger is believed to have shot himself in his cabin, Gallagher is asked by the captain to investigate the scene. But something doesn't fit. But it's good, gripping story, and it's a nice one. So I'm reading that. One of my favourite writers, you've got to like a bit of Wodehouse, haven't you? It's absolutely crackers, but it's really good. If you want something light-hearted to read in the garden this summer, just pick up a Wodehouse. This one, it's a Jeeves and Wooster one. Classic collection of stories featuring some of the funniest episodes in the life of Bertie Wooster. Gentleman and Jeeves in his Gentleman's Gentleman, in which Bertie's terrifying Aunt Agatha stalks the pages, seeking whom she may devour, while Bertie's friend Bingo Little, falls in love with 7 different girls, and he marries the last, the best-selling romantic novelist Rosie M. Banks, and Bertie, with Jeeves's help, evades the clutches of Honoria Glossop. At its heart is one of the Woodhouse's most delicious stories, The Great Sermon Handicap. They're just dip in and out of them, so they're brilliant. And Terry Pratchett. I'm a great fan of Terry Pratchett, but you've got to sort of like wacky and funny, and they're really nice to read. And I have another one, just one sec. Alexander McCall Smith. This is one of the #1 ladies detective agency now. I picked up the very first one, the first of his detective agency, the #1 ladies detective agency. I picked that up in Brighton. I was in Brighton with my sister Sal, and I thought that looks good. And you know, I've read a lot of them since then. I couldn't keep up with his pace of writing, unbelievable. So I read that one, and which have I done? I've read a few. There's so many to keep up with, and then I also like there's the Isabel Dalhousie novels. A bit more philosophical they are, but I like the Lady Detective Agency. They're easy to read and relaxing, and the characters are great. You just feel you get to know them, and it's a little corner of Africa that you just want to be there. And there's everything to love in that. So that I'm really looking forward to reading that. I got that with some book vouchers. And I think I'll wind it up now. I think I've been talking long enough. I'll finish my cup of tea and go and have a sit in the garden, have some salad for dinner, and then transplant lettuces. They're growing quite big, so I can now put them in individual pots. And let's pull one more tarot card. Can't leave it without that, can we? So if you want to follow me on the Tarot Crystals page, that'd be great. And with your tarot cards you get a reading and crystals, but tarot readings are £25 because it takes a long time. But the book box is a bargain, £15. And you get a few little gifts, like I said, and a handwritten letter from me as a special thank you. So I'm going to spread all the cards out now. There we go. 10 of coins. That's a pentacles. Some cards call them coins, some call them pentacles, some call them stones, but the 10 means you've got money coming. So hope we've all got some money coming. Could do with it, couldn't we, for the summer? Okay, thank you, till next time. Bye.